to Ramadi now, and then the pubs themselves. Yes.
Okay. So it was a lot of cultural reading.
A lot of cultural reading.
So it just wasn't just books on insurgency or counterinsurgency.
No, it wasn't just books on insurgency. Stuff's on culture and whatnot as well.
Okay. Because that's important in the counterinsurgency.
It's very important to be culturally sensitive over here. And the thing is, like I said, we weren't the limiting factor of what's changed the city, but I definitely say we progressed it along like a lot. The Al-Qaeda are trying very hard. Towards the beginning of this deployment, they were trying very hard to get back into the city. And what these augmentation teams do, we just made the IPs that much stronger. Like I said, we trained up for it. We learned how to fight it, and what we learned about was the people. Like, the people are like the center of everything. If you have the people backing you, then like you've pretty much win the people, you win the war. The Al-Qaeda can't come into the city if the people are totally against it, the people being the IPs, because they're all locals who live around here. So what we do as these augmentation teams, we'd come in and try to like befriend the IPs and support them more. And they'd be more active to accept our support and accept our friendship if we were more culturally sensitive to them. So we spent a lot of time learning the culture and understanding how they work, so we could be more culturally sensitive when we got
So what
here.
were some of those lessons that you learned prior to getting here?
Prior to getting here, it just taught me basically just all about the culture, about like the women, just their way of life, how sensitive they are, stuff like that.
Oh, like what about the women? Are you need to be conscious of here?
Be very cautious of them. You don't engage them at all. Don't talk to them. Don't try to shake their hand. If you
not
want,
like back in the States, we just sit at the mall and just watch girls
exactly.
walk by.
You can't even look at a girl walk. If you do see a girl walking around, you don't even look at her. Like, that's grounds to kill you. Like around here. So that if you want to piss off some IPs or piss off some local people in the city, like oogle their women or like try to engage them and talk to them, you're gonna piss some guys off real quick, and he may just decide to go get up on a roof someday and shoot at you just because of that reason. Well, what happens there? Like, that guy would shoot at you. Okay, you return fire and killed him. Like, good day for you. Like, no, bad day, because now you just killed an Iraqi, and the way their culture is, like, one guy can have so many wives and have so many kids. Like, they all have like 15 brothers, and their family ties are so tight. Like, you just killed his brother. You just killed 15 guys' brother. And by their religion, by their family ties, like, they have to get revenge for him. You just made 15 more insurgents, or 15 more terrorists, so to speak, and now you got 15 guys up on roofs shooting at Americans. Well, we kill them. Good day. Like, no, that guy has so many cousins, so many relatives. You're just, and it's a snowball effect.
Okay.
And that's what we have to be careful for. And that's the kind of train up and the stuff we were taught.
You're talking about the men being sensitive. What do you mean by that?
By sensitive, they're just such frail people. Like, they're quick to cry. They're more like touchy-feely, like putting their hands on you, being very close to you.
Does that bother you?
It does. It drives me crazy. But like I said, the training and everything I went through prepared me for it, and I knew it was going to come. So it wouldn't shock me when they'd like put their hand on my leg, or like were this close when they talked to me, or they'd want to kiss me on the cheek. Like, that stuff's accepted here. They don't see anything wrong with it. Like,
and to be a successful augmentation team leader, you couldn't be backing away or not accepting this.
No, you couldn't, because you would offend them, and they wouldn't be as prone to approach you for problems, or to accept your guidance on things.
Okay.
So.
Oh, I guess we failed to mention that in the augmentation team, your billet here is.
I'm a Bravo, which is we have an actual and a Bravo. Actual being the guy in charge, which is the station commander, which is Lieutenant Falk, and then myself, Sergeant Worth. I'm the Bravo here, just second in command. I deal more internal towards the station. I look more towards like the Marines' welfare. I oversee everything the Marines do. I'm in charge of making sure that their jobs are done and done right. And then Lieutenant Falk, he focuses more external, like towards the populace. As far as like contracts, like getting rid of rubbled buildings, rebuilding new buildings, sewer leaks, fixing water lines, getting power back to the city, stuff like that. And he deals with more of like the contracts and like the money side of things. I'm more focused internal with the Marines' well-being and the lower level IPs. I deal with like just the regular like average Joe police officers IP. Lieutenant Falk would deal with the officer side of the IPs.
Okay. So are you responsible for the IPs at the station? Yes.
Yes, very much so.
I mean, I understand they have a lieutenant colonel here, but still, I mean, they're still kind of learning.
Well,
the way.
they're coming. They're just coming off the ground. Like the way I like to put it is, all these guys here, they've had no form. A majority of them. Some of them have had prior military. Some of them have had prior police training. But a majority of them have had no prior training. And what I like to think of it as is if a bunch of pissed off people back in my hometown wanted to get these guys out of here, they form together, drive the guys out of there, and then they form a police station. Like, how many of them are going to be able to run that police station? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They're just kids off the streets with guns, and they just need the training. Like, they have the ambition, and they got the right idea. They want their city to be safe, and they're doing the right thing by keeping it safe. We're just here to help train them and professionalize them. And to do that, like I said, they have to like us and befriend us, or they're not going to accept our guidance or listen to us.
Okay. I understand that you were talking about the actual being Lieutenant Falk. I imagine he has, if he works directly out in town, he must be getting just slammed with just a lot of requests. There's just a lot of information coming his way. I mean, as a Bravo, do you help kind of? He
does, and that's part of my job as the Bravo. What I'll do is I help filter out the stuff that he doesn't need to deal with. What's another thing we learned about, like with our Iraqi culture, is they always want to talk to the man in charge, and it always has to be an officer. In their military and their IPs, they don't have like the NCOs, like the corporals and the sergeants, and to take care of things.
NCO stands for what again?
Non-commissioned officer.
Okay, great.
It's like officer, but they're non-commissioned. Lieutenants being like a commissioned officer.
Okay.
They don't have the NCOs like we have in the Marine Corps and like our American military, and they don't understand that. They think anybody who's not an officer is like a private, like a low-level guy. They don't want to deal with you. They don't want to talk to you, and that's part of my job. Like, they come in and like, I need to talk to the officer. I need to talk to the officer. I'm like, no, what's your problem? Like, I'm gonna deal with it. If I can't fix it for you, then you'll go talk to Lieutenant Falk, because he has so much to work on outside the city. All his contracts, like I said, repairing a city that is completely destroyed. And if every little problem came to him, he would just get like battered and torn apart. So it's my job to help filter those guys out and deal with a lot of like the BS. And you'd be surprised how much like the piddly little stuff they try to take out to him. And I'm like, like, which I could fix, just no problem.
Okay. I understand when you first got here that, like I said, you are building the concept behind the whole augmentation team. There was some problems with trying to make the traditional company work. We know the company gun and company first sergeant taking care of administration here at the. And I understand there's what, like 7 augmentation teams or 6 augmentation teams.
Augmentation teams, as far as
in the city
there's much more. Like, I couldn't even tell you how many there are. I don't know. I know for my company specifically, we have 6 Lima company, and then we actually adopted a state